Yep. All right. So let's start with this. Also, have on the cue sheet the Mizmor Shear E minor,
Mhm.
the one you know.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can start with the letter D. You go.
Okay.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom to you, Cantor. Shabbat shalom to all of you out there. It's wonderful to see your beautiful, wonderful faces. Um, there's a rabbi who sees a man sleeping next to his wife during the sermon. And the rabbi comes down from the bima and he asks the wife to wake her husband up. But she says, Rabbi, forgive me. You put my husband to sleep, so you should wake him up. And I'm kind of curious, like, it hasn't occurred to me over the last many months, like, is it easier to fall asleep when it's on Zoom, or is it harder to fall asleep? Is it easier to bore you or help you find a place of zen and peace, or is it more difficult? I don't know. Tell me, tell us. It's fun to try to bring a little humor after all, we're in 2021, and it's been a very hard year for all of us. I can't imagine there's anyone who doesn't feel that it's been a very hard year. But we've arrived, we've made it to 2021 together. And what is that African proverb? If you want to travel far, then go alone. Travel fast, go alone. You want to travel far, go together. That's it. If you want to travel far, then travel together. And it's great to be together with you all and to celebrate this moment. So, Melody and Navid, I am thinking about the number 19. In a moment, you're going to light the Shabbat candles. I see them. Now, thinking about the number 19, And the number 19 actually in Gematria, it relates to the word batach or betach or bituach, the letters bet, tet, chet. And that word, that root, Hebrew root, it points to trust and reliance and being there for each other. So in this year, 19th year that you guys celebrated your anniversary, I don't remember exactly the day, but recently, I think last week, because it was supposed to happen you obviously have your power back. That's a good thing. May this year be a year of betach. May you continue to take care of each other with the bituach that you have for the last 19 years and even before that. I see your beautiful daughters and Melody, your wonderful sister. I don't see the rest of you guys, but bringing light into the world is not an easy thing to do, and we do it every Shabbat. We try to. So, Stu, if you can turn to the Pomeratis, then they'll lead us in the lighting of the candles.
Let's get the chairs out of the way.
Okay. Is it working? From this. Guys want to come? Here we go. Elena, where are you at? Come.
Keep going.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Thank you guys so much.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I should mention as we're looking at the Pomeratis that I actually spent some time this week with another Pomerati, Chloe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how did that happen?
Well, I was attending the Rising Song Institute, and she was presenting on Hebrew Persian poetry and taught us a song, Boz Amadan. So
Amazing. Did she
That's
sing for
amazing.
you?
she taught it for a lot of us. And I mentioned, hey, I know some Pomeratis. And she's like, oh my gosh, I know them too. So
Such
we
a
should talk
small
more.
world.
Small world. We should
She
talk
has
more
this.
about that.
She has the sweetest voice.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Speaking of Rising Song Institute, there were a lot of new melodies that we learned this week. And there are going to be some additional new melodies or maybe less done melodies that we do tonight in anticipation of our Martin Luther King service on the 15th. We're going to be joined by a fabulous ensemble called the Afro-Semitic Experience. They've gone into the studio to record for us, and so we're going to introduce or reintroduce some of the melodies that we're doing that evening, this Shabbat and next Shabbat. So if things sound a little less familiar, or if you go, oh, I remember that from when Cantor Vlad used to do it or Cantor Hest used to do it, you'll know why. We'll continue now on page 12 with Lechu Neranana as we begin our journey through the Psalms. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Mekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Bizmirod Naria Lo. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai.
Page 16, Psalm 98.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor kol zimra, be'achatza חצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, יהרום הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביו, נהרות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קיווה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במי שערים, ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביו, נהרות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו, נהרות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו.
Together we rejoice, and we go from Psalm 98 to L'Chadodi on page 20.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור ודיבור אחד, הישמענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה,
Rise for the last prayer.
גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה.
Okay, thank you, Cantor, and all leading sin Lechadudi. Before we go to Baruch Hu, I want to just share a little, I don't know, Shana Tova, New Year, thank you. Saw this wonderful piece by a man, I don't know him, Pesach Benson, on the Times of Israel, and he writes the thank yous we need to say for the end of 2020 and I think the beginning of 2021. Just want to read or share a little bit of this. It wouldn't be right to ring out 2020 without expressing appreciation for the good. We made it through a difficult year. So without further ado, thank you to the doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals. Thank you to my personal doctor for being so responsive. Thank you to my wife and children for not taking unnecessary risks with their health. Thank you to all the paramedics coming out to emergency calls. Thank you to the supermarket cashier who cheerfully gave out a mask when someone forgot theirs. Thank you to all the other cashiers who somehow keep things moving with aplomb, despite sometimes difficult customers. Thank you to all the so-called nudniks pointing out when others aren't wearing masks properly. Thank you all to all the teachers who mastered Zoom and other tools on the fly to try to teach our children. Thank you. Just a couple of final ones. Thank you to the Facebook groups where we shared information, advice, and encouragement to make getting through the year a little easier. Thank you to all the journalists documenting the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you to the post office guy who makes sure people wait in line outside, and to all the pharmacists who remind customers to keep appropriate distance one from another. Last one. Thank you to the supermarket guards and cashiers for being able to joke about taking our temperature 3 times one morning when I had to make multiple trips. We all can add our own thank yous to this very meaningful, heartfelt list of thank yous by Pesach Benson, who is from Baltimore. With that, it's appropriate to turn to Psalm 92 on page 22 as we offer Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, which is an expression, a prayer of gratitude for this sacred day of rest that our Jewish people invented for the world, brought into the world. Page 22.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסון ועלי אבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפעלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון צדיק אתה אמר יפרח כארז בלבנון ישגה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו אור ינובון בסבע דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתה בו. So lovely to see so many of you singing along with us. Thank you for doing that.
It's the Jewish way to list all the deserving souls who we should thank. The Jewish formula for that is Shalom Aleichem. You know, the prayer that we sing every Shabbat, every Erev Shabbat, thinking about the angels in our lives, the angels in our world who help this world to be a better place. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
It's also the way we greet one another.
What cancer?
It's also the way we greet one another.
Exactly. Yes.
The angels in our
Totally right.
lives. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem LeShalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitichem LeShalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
If you'd like to rise for Baruch Hu, please feel free to do so on page 28. 28.
Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Will you understand? Are you listening to my prayer? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Please respond. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, la lai lai lai, yalla אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריף ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה גורם בחושך וחושך מפני יור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריף ערבים.
32, אהבת עולם.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, ויארך ימינו, ויארך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. 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 Now the rabbi is going to say a word or two about the next phrase.
30, באהבת on 36.
We're on page 34 at the bottom. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
Ani Adonai
Elohechem.
Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem.
Emet.
We turn to Micha Mocha on page 40.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם Who is like you Adonai Who is like you Adonai Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot oseh feleh Nora tehilot oseh feleh Who is like you Adonai Who is like you מלכותך ראו בניך חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ויאמרו זה לי אנו ויאמרו ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל In our Global Jewish Grooves class, the last couple weeks, we actually explored Hashkivenu in several different settings of the melody. And
Nice.
as I always begin every class, I ask, what is the Hashkivenu? Please sing for me, the Hashkivenu. And
From Mount Sinai, you mean, right?
the one that originated at Mount Sinai, that's correct. And invariably, it's one that's written sometime in the last 20 years. Sometimes even in the last 10 years. And there are so many beautiful and lovely melodies, but one of the things that we discovered or we kind of uncovered or teased out in that class is that so many of these lovely melodies are similar to lullabies because it's about lying down in peace and waking up in peace. And so this melody by Craig Taubman may be familiar to some of you. We haven't done it recently, but I hope you'll be able to sing along at home and that it carries you at the proper moment to your pajamas and to your bed so that you can lie down with a sense of warmth and peace and you can be humming the Hashkivenu as you do that. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu לשלום ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקננו ביצה טובה מלפניך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ויגן בידינו, ויסר מלנו אויב דבק וחרב ורעב ויגון, והרחק ממנו עוון ופשע, ובצל כנפיך תסתירנו. כי אל שומרנו מצילנו אתה, כי אל חנון ורחום אתה. ושמור את צאתנו, ובוא עלינו לחיים ושלום, מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל
Beautiful rendering of Hashkivenu. We turn to page 44 for Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Shai just slipped a tango rhythm in for me, so ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. Shabbat is the wedding between God and the children of Israel. It's only appropriate we have dance music at a wedding. And that dance, that tango, that milonga, Beini uvein bnei Israel, between me and the children of Israel, is one that will last forever. What a dance. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru bnei Yisrael et hashabat השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת, this is the long dip, וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
From generation to generation, Ladorotam, we will do the busyness, the work, the spiritual labor of sacred time. And then we're going to rise. Now we'll rise for the Amidah, for Tefillah on page 46.
Adonai sevatai tivtav uvi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'konei hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. It's happening right now. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בר גבורות ומדם מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וגרושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Take a moment for our own personal prayer. We'll come back together for prayer for peace with Shalom Rav on page 62. A moment for ourselves.
Please feel free to continue your private meditations at your own pace. You can also join us for a plea for peace, for fullness, and abundant peace for Israel and all the world on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hamavarech et Amo Yisrael, Bashalom.
Hearts, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing, a prayer for physical and spiritual healing. As we started off this evening, none of us has gotten through this time without feeling the great worry and the great sadness and stress over loved ones who are in need of healing. And so feel free to share the names of loved ones in our chat. We're on page 253, our Misha Berach.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Thank you for this beautiful Misha Berach prayer for healing for our bodies and souls. Every sermon is, I think, really about healing. And so in addition to our Misha Berach, we're going to offer a prayer for our congregation and for our country, Howard Herman, we're going to ask you to lead us in our prayer for the congregation on 258. And then Sarah Green, we're going to have the honor of you leading us in our prayer for the country, also on 258, in honor of your birthday as well. So, Howard, you're first, if you would.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Amen. May this birthday this past week, Howard, I pray it was a happy one, and may this year be healthy and happy for you and Barbara and your family. Happy birthday. And Sarah, I think your birthday's tomorrow.
Happy
Is that
birthday,
right?
everybody.
Yes.
Yay, Sarah. So good to see
Thank you so much.
And that handsome man to your left.
Yes. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
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 Well, I feel a little deprived, Lawrence and Sarah, that I didn't get to see your beautiful Russell and Sophie, but
Yeah,
they're
where
forgiven.
are they?
The first passage you read, Sarah, just thinking it's so fitting for you to have read this, for you guys, so committed to preventing hunger and working so hard to help people who have little. So may it be a very happy birthday and year ahead for you as well. And we're grateful and blessed to share this moment and many others with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We feel blessed to be here as well and celebrate Shabbat with you guys tonight.
Thank you guys so much. Okay. All these beautiful prayers, I really do believe that that is the purpose of every sermon. So, no rabbi's words ever hold up or match up with Isaiah and Jeremiah, but here you go. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leholam Va'ed. Blessed is the name of the glory of his kingdom forever and ever. Maybe you remember, we recite this phrase, Baruch Shem, this right after the Shema. Baruch Shem Kavod. We say it every day, 2 times a day. And we said it this evening, just a little while ago. The cantor was trying to prod me he was helping me. And here's the scene in our Torah portion, Vayechi, which means, and he lived, and Jacob lived. Father Jacob has gathered his sons around his deathbed. And according to the Midrash, despite decades of fighting, jealousy, and negativity, the children, the sons, come together as one. They create a great moment of family unity, and the Midrash says that the boys of Jacob said, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel. The Midrash teaches that these are the words, Shema Yisrael, that Jacob's sons said to their father. In other words, long before Moses says this in the book of Deuteronomy, that's in in late spring. Long before we get to that moment, right now, the 12 sons of Jacob say it to their father here at the end of the book of Genesis. And naturally, Jacob is so moved. They have finally come together, no hatred, no jealousy, there's peace. Jacob can go on to the next world in tranquility. And beyond this moment of family unity, there's something else. Jacob realizes that the boys, as they said the Shema Yisrael, they're speaking to the deepest aspect of their father's being, Israel. He's not just Jacob, he's Yisrael. Shema, hear, Yisrael. Yes, hear, the people of Israel, but also, yes, hear, O Israel, our beloved dad. Listen, hear. God is one, and we're one. The sons proclaim our oneness as a people Israel, and they direct it to their singular father, who became Israel, as we know, after wrestling with the angel. But within a moment, a blink of an eye, Jacob blesses his children. And listen to these painful blessings. Reuben, unstable as water, you brought disgrace. Shimon and Levi, your weapons are tools of lawlessness. Judah, your father's son shall bow low to you. He crouches, lies down like a lion. Gad shall be raided by raiders, but he shall raid at their heels. Joseph is a wild ass. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. And Jacob blesses the other five as well. Isn't there something wrong with these blessings? There's so much pain, mistrust, judgment in these words. These blessings completely upend our feeling that Jacob is going to the next world in a state of peace and serenity. Why did he say all these painful things in the last moments of his life? And why, therefore, do we repeat his words? Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto. After his son said the Shema, he followed with, blessed is his name. And every day, twice a day, we say this. And why? Why does Jacob end his life by speaking so harshly with such criticism of his 12 sons? Personally, I can't imagine how Jacob could do this. It feels so wrong. I remember my last moments with my father. I sat on the ground and held him in my arms for 60 seconds. He'd fallen in a parking lot. These were his last moments of being alert, and I can't fathom how pained and traumatized I'd feel today if he'd been like Jacob. How could Jacob do that? Would any of us want our parent or any loved one to speak to us like this in her or in his final moments? Why would he do this? Here's one answer from Ha'amek Devar, the Netziv, the head of the great Volozhin Yeshiva of Mir. This is way back in Parsha Toldot, the week that actually Jacob and Esau were born. And Jacob there was described as an Ish Tam, a very pure, innocent person. The Netziv said this of Jacob: Eino nechalek l'shnayim, omer kach, uvelibo kach. There's no conflict for Jacob, says the Netziv, between what he says and what he feels in his heart. Contemporary vernacular, maybe, you might say that Jacob could always say it like it is. But it's not true. Like most of us, Jacob was unable to speak to his family the way he wanted to in so many moments of his life. Let me remind you, Jacob never admitted to his father Isaac the deception committed by he and his mom Rebekah. Jacob never confronted Reuven, his son, after he slept with Bilhah in Jacob's bed. He never condemned Shimon and Levi after they killed the men of Shechem. He said nothing to Judah after Judah abandoned his daughter-in-law Tamar when Judah's son, Tamar's husband, suddenly died. Jacob never admonished Joseph after the pain Joseph caused his brothers by reporting his provocative and divisive dreams. And Jacob never forced Reuven, Judah, or any of his sons to admit their deceit and lies about brother Joseph, throwing him into a pit, selling him into slavery, being slaughtered by a wild beast. Jacob definitively was not a man who could tell it like it is. Jacob is so far from the person described by the Netziv. one who, with care and compassion, could say what is truly in his heart. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto. Blessed is Israel's name. Remember, we repeat these words 2 times every day. Every day, I think, we're invited to identify with Jacob. Every day we struggle to say it like it is. Omer kach uvelibo kach. Many days, like Jacob, we miss the mark. But every day, we continue to try. This is a fitting lesson, I think, for January 1 of any year. Jacob struggled so much to express himself, to be better, to try harder, to open the lines of communication. He never mastered this skill or art, but up to the very end, he continued to try. Jacob was an imperfect man. He was far from a perfect human being. And I think maybe that's why we sing, Baruch Shem. Blessed is his name, our name. Baruch Shem. It's not just God's name that's to be blessed. It's Jacob's name. And Jacob is Israel. It's all of us. Every time we sing these words, we're singing about ourselves, about our own name, about our own imperfections. I recently learned a beautiful teaching on a similar theme relating to Jacob's 2 sons, Judah and Joseph. In our parsha, Jacob says to Judah, Lo yasor shevet mi Yehuda. The scepter, the emblem of sovereignty, will never depart from Judah. And our sages teach, and the world well knows, that the messianic line will come from Judah, not from Joseph. King David descended from Judah, and the Messiah will come from King David. By the way, you no doubt likely know this. This is why Christianity works so hard to tie the lineage of Jesus to David and back to Judah. Rav Yitzchak Breitowitz frames a very meaningful question. Why is the Malchut, the permanent sovereignty of Jewish history, tied to Judah rather than to Joseph? After all, Judah advocated that the brothers sell Joseph into slavery. And there was Judah who slept with a prostitute and was only a hair's breadth away from having this prostitute executed for her purported immorality. One could make a good case that the permanent kingship of Israel would be better tied to Joseph. Joseph had outstanding executive experience as prime minister to Pharaoh. Joseph had the spiritual experience as well. Remember, he had the moral inner strength to just say no. Think about Potiphar, the Egyptian leader, whose wife made sexual advances toward Joseph. What was Joseph's response to Potiphar's wife? No. He just said no. He was a lowly slave, a prisoner who languished in jail, but he was a man of wealth and honor and prestige who remained faithful to God. So why not have Jewish sovereignty follow Joseph's hereditary line instead of Judah's? It's a meaningful question. Here's the answer offered by Rabbi Breitowitz. Judah says in public, we talked about this last week, he says in public with many people witnessing, Tzadkami many, she, Tamar, is more righteous than I. And later Judah says, Ki avdecha arav. And Anochi ervenu, Judah says to his wife, I'll be surety for my brother Benjamin. And to his prime minister brother Joseph, he says the same thing. I, your servant, will be surety for my brother. Judah admits his guilt in relation to Tamar in front of the world. Tzadkami meni. And he transforms himself to become, rather than the one who throws a brother in his pit, to be the one who's the surety, the guarantor for his baby brother Benjamin. A leader, says Rabbi Breitowitz, needs to be a role model. He or she is a person we look up to. But sometimes the person who is so perfect, who doesn't succumb to temptation, isn't necessarily the person we can best learn from. Often, we learn from people who make mistakes, from people who fail. from people who go through some of the same issues that we go through. So Joseph may represent perfection. Joseph always rose to the challenge. He went from poverty to prosperity and power. He forgives and lets go of his very justified anger, and he sees God in every situation. But Judah, he's different. Judah teaches us about imperfection. Judah teaches us how to change. He teaches us that we can make mistakes, even grave mistakes. And so our tradition, it seems, decided long ago that our master of imperfection, rather than our prince of the perfect, should be our seat of kingship, the one who teaches us how to admit our shortcomings and fix our worst mistakes. That's the eternal foundation of Jewish glory and Jewish greatness. We're at the end of one book of Torah and the beginning of another. We're finishing Genesis and beginning Exodus. We're at the end of a life, that of Jacob, and the beginning of the life of Am Yisrael, from the family of Jacob to the people of the Jewish people. We're at the end of one year and the beginning of another. For all of us, as we welcome 2021, it's a time for reflection and self-reflection, to see that we're not perfect, to love our blemishes, and to stand hopeful and optimistic in the face of our imperfections. Rabbi Ed Feinstein reminded me of a wonderful cartoon, a wonderful Peanuts cartoon. Lucy tells Charlie Brown, "I've examined my life and found it to be without flaw. Therefore, I'm going to hold a ceremony and present myself with a medal. I'll then give a moving acceptance speech, and after that, I'll greet myself in the receiving line." She concludes somewhat sadly, "When you're perfect, you have to do everything yourself." None of us are without a flaw. None of us, including Lucy, want to do it all alone. Let's return to where we started. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto. Every day, we repeat Jacob's words. Like Jacob, none of us is perfect. Just as Jacob strives until the end to be Israel, so too should we. None of us feel worthy of a medal. I'm guessing Lucy doesn't either. But all of us really do deserve one. We deserve a medal. Every time we sing, Baruch Shem, I think God is handing us a medal. We're not expected to be Joseph, but all of us can be as flawed as Jacob. All of us can try like Jacob to our very end to be Israel. And maybe that's what the Netziv meant. Maybe not that Jacob could say it as it is. Not that he actually did that. Not that Jacob actually did ask the right question, offer the right feeling, make the right judgment. But that maybe tomorrow he would be able to. That Jacob, that Israel, every one of us, at the end of the year and the beginning, would forever try. Happy New Year and Shabbat Shalom.
Lai 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Can't throw out first time around. I just want to, before we rise for Elena, I want to just say something that, there's a way in which every clergy team, they have this kind of, some really, it's crucial to create some room for spontaneity, and others, like, it's important to be organized and prepared, and it's always kind of a dance and a balance, and Cantor Adam, in a beautiful, spontaneous way, or was spontaneous to me. I didn't know what was happening. Early in the service, he sang this, and even though I prepared him for it, I totally missed what he was doing until now. But I'm grateful because it was a beautiful thing to do back right after we said the Shema, before I was trying to get us to be a hafta. That's a perfect way to finish this sermon. So anyway, let's rise for Aleinu on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And as always, we remember loved ones before concluding. First, I'll read the loved ones who we remember on our Kaddish list. If you want to share the name via chat, feel free to do so if someone you're remembering. Laid to rest this week is beloved mother of Steve Lemmer, Rosalind Lemmer, and also we remember the passing of beloved Jerry Tillis this past week, last Sunday. Laid to rest in the last 30 days, Victoria Kedmi, Dear Shai's beloved Safta, Esther Horgan, and Yaakov Reutman. And we remember those whose yortzeit is this week or this Shabbat: Joseph Abrams and Benjamin Cooper, Joseph Feldman and Emmanuel Heimberg, William Koppelman and Mort Lubert, Blanche Neuwirth and Rose Strachman and Morris Strachman, Ray Stone, Harrison Weiss Horowitz, Martin Weilheimer, Mary Yeller, and Arlene Zucker. If, as I said, if you're remembering someone, and maybe, let's see, Elaine, your parents, Kathleen Hinson, Fred, Elise Fornari, Alice Natricia. Alice, this is Gloria Orleans Hornwood, Jordana, your beloved father, Isaac Ehrlich as well, and any others who we remember. Mourner's Kaddish on 294. Yit Gadal, Vit Kadash, Shemer Abba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yurte, v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala v'izman kariv v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabban Vorach Le'olam Olamei Almaya. Yit Barach v'yishtabach v'yit Pa'ar v'yitramam v'yit Naseh. Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemei de Kudasha Brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'miran bi'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And let us say one last time,
Amen.
Amen. I will remember. Thank you, Marina, for adding your mom as well. Okay. We now, a few announcements before Stamens, you lead us in Kiddush and Motzi in honor of Dimitri's 39th birthday. But before we get to that, announcements. Let's see. Hold on. Elaine, thank you, Elaine, for hosting our virtual Oneg tonight. Stay in the Zoom room if you want to just hang out and enjoy some friendship and camaraderie and conversation. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 9 a.m. I think that's Rabbi Tara is leading that. I think that's right. Havdalah at 5:30 p.m. I think that's me. And next 2 weeks from now, January 15th, our MLK service, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night. The Afro-Semitic experience, yes.
Oh, yes.
Nigel Breton, and we're still trying to absolutely confirm really, really special, actually several speakers. Don't want to jump the gun though. Morning minyan on Monday and Thursday. Every Wednesday mourners group with Rabbi Tara at 10 a.m. And on this Tuesday, Cantor Adam leading another session of his song share. And then on Thursday, the Torah Trope Yad Squad. Cantor Adam, you want to say anything about that?
If you've ever wondered why we chant Ve'ahavta the way we do, or how to read from the Torah, this is your opportunity to join the super excellent Yad Squad. We don't have the T-shirts or uniforms printed yet, or
Yet.
and we're still applying the decal to the supersonic jet, but it will be a super team to be part of, and is yet another way for you to be part of our worship here and our study of Torah here at TBE. I encourage anyone of any age range to come and learn how to chant Torah. It's going to be fun and exciting. It'll be pretty easy as well. So, and a great way to get to know me.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
it's all about me.
Join
So-
Cantor Adam. Perfect. Cantor Adam is busy in these next couple of weeks. Tuesday with the song share, Thursday with Torah Trope, the following week with Global Jewish Grooves. Okay. Thank you a ton to the Pomeratis. Mazel tov to you on your 19th anniversary, and Naveed on your birthday. Thank you, and Mazel tov Howard on your birthday, leading us in the prayer for the congregation, and dear Sarah for your birthday as well, and you for your leading us in the prayer for our nation and the generosity of all of you. So, Dimitri, your birthday was 2 days ago, I believe. You and Marina and Amy, where are you? I don't see you. Is Sarah there? No, the three of you. Yay, you're going to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. Hold on. We're on page, what page is it again? I don't want to forget. 5? Is that right, Cancer?
That sounds about right. I
Okay.
think it's-
How you guys doing, Stamens? You
Good,
all right?
good. Thank you, Rabbi.
All right. It's good to see you. Go for it.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'olam.
Amen. 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 Take a drink. Okay. And as well, that will lead us in Motzi as well. I want to thank also Maria Margoloff for baking, as always, delicious challah. I'd love to share it with you all, but oh my gosh, it smells so good. Thank you to Maria. And guys, you want to lead us in Motzi as well?
Yes.
Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. May it
Amen.
be a year of health and a little bit of adventure and celebration, Dimitri, and Amy and Marina. I know that you've got, there's fun stuff happening, happy stuff happening, but mazel tov, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a little bit of Maria's challah and Cantor.
Let's close with a little Ose Shalom. Ose Shalom Bimroma. Ya'ase Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru Amen. Osei shalom bimromav. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru Say shalom bimromav. Oh, ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru Amen. Hey, Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Amen, amen. And I want to wish Kira a happy 21st birthday. Darn it, why didn't we know this in advance? We'd had you do something, Kira. It's great to see you. Happy birthday. Happy New Year to everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Unmute. Happy New Year and happy